Hello ladies and gents, this is another video brought to you by Ants. I said from my first video that this will be the trials and tribulations of my ant keeping, and unfortunately this weekend's not been a great one. I've had some trouble with my Parius and my Messer queens as well. I think it's only appropriate I'll start with this setup first. As you can see from here, I've got the Ant Canada portal connected to one of their test tubes. The black thing is the temperature probe in it. In this video here it was quite warm and they moved their cocoons into the portal. So what I did was move the heating cable out of the way of the test tube, and they soon moved them back in again to the test tube, that is. Now today I was doing my normal feeding of the my ants, and I came across this. As you can tell, there's a lot of humidity in their test tube, probably due to the proximity of the heating cable. I probably moved it a bit too close to the cotton wool, so it umped up the humidity and made it a lot of condensation form inside. Unfortunately, the condensation had collected at the bottom of the test tube, and it looks like it's drowned at least one of the cocoons, which is a big disappointment. As I said from my first video, I've had some trouble with the Parius, getting them to settle down to produce eggs, and now that she's finally producing eggs, I've got this happen to me, so it's really disappointing. So, how I dealt with this was that I disconnected the test tube and used a cotton bud and swabbed out the inside to dry up all the excess water. Now I did try and get a video of this, but unfortunately my filming skills aren't the best yet, and all you got was my hand. So I did that, then reconnected it all, but I had to think about what to do going forward, and unfortunately all I had was a high-tech medium ant's nest, which are pretty good bits of kit. As you can see, as soon as I connected it, they pretty much went straight to work checking out the nest. As you can see here, they're having a look round, gauging the size of it, and hopefully they'll find it appropriate. Now this is a big bit of kit, but as you can see, it's been chambered off with the internal walls. You've got two different areas where they can set up the nest, and there's two different hydration areas. There is a third area, pretty much where the ants are kicking around now, where there is no hydration areas. So if it's too humid in the other parts, they can go to this area, and it's slightly smaller, so hopefully it'll be more comfortable for the queen in this foundation stage. I did originally use this to house my Ladies Nigers, but unfortunately, because they're so small, they were able to fit through the gap at the top of the hydration blocks, managed to escape out of the hole, so I had to move them out. And as this is the only nest I've got, I've decided to use it for my Parius. The other bit of bad news from this weekend was that I found my two queen foundation stage messers both died, unfortunately. This was due to my own fault and not from Ants Davey, who supplied them to me. The test tubes are normally small that you get from retailers, so what I tend to do is move them into one of my own test tubes, so they've got plenty of water if they need it. But unfortunately in this case I didn't, and I left them on the heat because they need the heat, and I failed to check them as much as I should, and they dried out and unfortunately died. I didn't want to move them because they had young brood, and I didn't want to disturb them, but unfortunately this didn't work. But Ants Davey came to the rescue. We're both members of a chat group, and I mentioned about my Messer passing away. He PM'd me and asked me if they were from him, which they were, and I explained that it was my fault as an owner, not his as a retailer, but he was still willing to send me a replacement ants queens. So kudos to you, matey, there was no need for that, and I appreciate it, thanks. I'll put a link to his website in my description so you guys can check him out. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Just remember that as ant keepers we all make mistakes from time to time, and it's learning from those mistakes that make us better ant keepers. Stay safe, guys.